is the venture or the stepping into prop tech, is that a sideline? Is that a hobby? Is that an integrated part of the company? How does that all fit together?
No, it's definitely an integrative part of our business, and we actually, I was interesting. I was took a reporter from the Times yesterday through our new building in Brooklyn called Dock 72, and it's that building is really the culmination of all the things that we've been doing in our business, amenitizing office space, technology, outdoor space, food, wellness. We designed this building 5 or 6 years ago. We have MERV 15 filters. Like if you asked me a few years ago what was a MERV 15 filter, what did I know? But our engineers and our architects and our team were smart enough to anticipate the need for a sustainable and healthy environment, and so we got involved in technology integration in our buildings in 1995. So if I was on a Zoom call with you in 1995 and I said to you, probably couldn't have done it because the technology didn't really exist. But if I said to you, what's broadband connectivity? You'd look at me like, what are you talking about? And so there was the head of the MIT lab, Nicholas Negroponte, in the early 90s, wrote a book called Being Digital. And in that book on page 112 is the Smart Ready building. And we took that as a template. We had an empty building. Drexel Burnett had gone bankrupt. Lower Manhattan had 30 million feet of vacant space. One of that, we had a 500,000, 400,000 foot office building that was 100% empty. So it was almost out of necessity that we came up with a new idea of how to wire an office building and bring connectivity to our tenants in a much more efficient and better way. We brought the risers up. We had the connectivity brought into the building and up into the floors and gave tenants choice. And so I think that was really our first, our chief operating officer, John Gilbert, came up with this idea. And the building went from 100% vacant to 100% leased in 18 months. It was just a phenomenal experience. And that led us to buy another building in Tribeca, the former AT&T headquarters, that had incredible bandwidth underneath it. We turned that into a partially telco hotel. And that led us to being co-developers with Thomson Reuters, or Reuters back in the 20 years ago. They were looking for technology, sustainability, a new building, signage in the heart of Times Square, and they brought us in as their partner. So technology and infrastructure has really been a part of our business for several decades. And so now, fast forward to about 5, 6 years ago, our engineers and our team developed a building operating system. It's called Anthem. And we literally operate our office buildings on an iPhone or iPad. It provides instantaneous real-time data on building occupancy, electrical consumption, water consumption, CO2 levels. It's a brain. We never had this before. The engineers would come in at 7, turn the equipment on, and at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock turn the building off. But now we have data. We have there's a dashboard that we can see occupancy moves, and so we know at 11:30 people start going out to lunch. So guess what? We can throttle back the fan speeds in the building using machine learning algorithms and weather sensors and real-time data, and reduce the fan speeds, save electricity, and not impact comfort. And then by 1:30 or 2, we know from the data and the sensors that we have in the buildings that people start coming in. We know on Friday afternoons in the summertime at 2 o'clock, there's a significant drop in occupancy because people are going home. They're going to play golf. They're going away for the weekend. So this data has been very critical, and it's a business for us. So we have J.P. Morgan, Brookfield, Boston Properties, and many others as a client. We've gone out. We have a separate company that we fund ourselves called Prescriptive Data. that is creating these products. We have a tenant app that allows tenants to see occupancy in the lobby and elevators. And as people start coming onboarding back into the buildings as we go through and COVID, this will be an important part of our business. We also several years ago started to invest in prop tech companies that not just to invest, but to help us make our business more efficient. So we invested in Latch, which is about to go public through a SPAC, and many other companies. We invested in Fifth Wall, which is a preeminent fund in real estate. So we try to integrate and beta test these technologies. Some of them work, some of them don't work. Just like we did with our company, Prescriptive Data, and the product Nantum, we used ourselves as the petri dish to have proof of concept. So we continually are looking at technology, and we know that this is an important part of the future and integration within our buildings, both commercial and residential. And it really is also it's a way for us to diversify out of real estate into technology. I think you're seeing that a trend all over the place in terms of real estate companies, and I think it's an important part of the future of our industry.
All got started because you had, as Claude Ballard used to say, a building unencumbered by leases.
that for several years, and we were scared what was going to happen to the rest of our portfolio in Lower Manhattan. And so, we scratched our heads for a while. We made the difficult decision, and I remember it was sort of role reversal back in the 90s, because young Bill Rudin was like, let's build, let's go this, let's do that. And then I realized that, that even at $18 a foot, we couldn't rent this building because Lower Manhattan was in a shambles. And I had to go and explain that to my father and uncle. And my uncle wanted to go and, start the renovation process. And so we compromised. We took the asbestos out, but it was like a total role reversal, where I was saying we used the M word, mothballed the building. Like, we had never done that before. So we literally, all the tenants moved out, we closed the building, and we waited for the right moment in time. And the market turned around, and we came up with this innovative plan. Downtown started to recover because we had worked together with the mayor and the governor to come up with the plan. And that was really a true public-private partnership. And but it was it was interesting dynamics. We start off with this conversation in terms of a family business, and then to go back to 1 second. So then in like 1995, I get a phone call from Carl Weisbrod, who was head of the Downtown Alliance, and he called me up and said, "Hey, Bill, we have this idea of creating a technology-oriented building. We had looked at another building. That deal had fallen through. We know you're thinking about technology. Will you take your building and reposition it and create this technology center?" And it was I'll never forget, it was a Friday afternoon, and I went into my father, my uncle's office, and I called my dad in, and I told them what was on the table. And they all said, "Okay, well, let's think about it over the weekend." The next morning, my father calls me up. He's on his way to play golf. And he said, "Bill, did you see the front page of the New York Times?" And I said, I did. And it was CompuServe, which was owned by IBM and Sears, which was an internet service provider, along with early AOL connectivity company that was headquartered up in Westchester. And they announced on the front page of the Times that they're going to move from Westchester to downtown. We didn't know where downtown was. And why? Because that's where all the young people in this company, cutting edge company, wanted to work. They didn't want to work in the suburbs of Westchester. And my dad called me and said, "Did you see this?" I said, "Yes." He go, "Well, that's the sign. We're going to go ahead and let's go with this project." And that was a $40 million decision that he made based on that sign from above that this was the right time to go ahead and start this project. So no market reports, no analysis. It was his gut feeling, and it turned out to be 1,000% correct.